The three main divisions of philosophy are metaphysics, epistemology, and axiology. The study of reality in the broad sense, an inquiry into the elemental nature of the universe and the things in it, is known as metaphysics. Theology is the study of existence of God. Cosmology is the study of mysteries of the world. Cosmogony is the study of related the theories of the origin and development of the universe. Epistemology is the branch of philosophy concerned with the theory of knowledge. Axiology is the study of values. Aesthetics is the branch of philosophy deal with the nature of beauty. Questions like what is knowledge and what is truth are mainstays in the branch of philosophy known as epistemology. For Socrates, the soul is harmed by lack of knowledge. Idealism. Chief exponent of idealism are Socrates and Plato. The idealistic theory is also known as metaphysical theory. According to the philosophy of idealism in education, the subject matter of curriculum should be mind. The view that the state is the march of God on earth is associated with the idealist. The basic principle of idealism ideas are final, beliefs in God, and spiritual values. Education is based on spiritualism, emphasizes book learning, teacher, and curriculum are the central aspects of education. Idealism. Self realization, realization of truth, goodness, and beauty is the main aim of education of idealism. Who is the student of Socrates? Plato. Who divides society in three parts: philosophers, auxiliary, and artisan. Plato. Who divides society in three parts: philosopher, auxiliaries, and artisan. Plato. Religious education is strongly advocated by idealists, in which philosophical thought teacher role is supreme and teaching by lecture method, discussion, dialogue. Idealism. Next है realism. Father of realism is Aristotle. Realism is a philosophical approach that argues the ultimate reality is the world of physical object. The basic principle of realism truths are discovered by observation and experiment, which philosophical thought opposes book learning and emphasized on science. Realism, who believe that objectives have a reality independent of mental phenomena. Realists. Marxist educational philosophy is close to realism. The realists' aim of education is happy and moral development. Pragmatism. Father of pragmatism is C.S. Peirce, which is the most widely accepted method of education according to the pragmatists. Learning by doing. Project method of teaching is an outstanding contribution of pragmatism. Which school of philosophy of education advocated project method of teaching? Pragmatism. Learning by project method is technically known as incidental learning. Pragmatism school of philosophy stress on social discipline, in which methodology of teaching experimentation is the keynote of pragmatism. Next है naturalism. Father of naturalism is Emile Zola. Play, way, and observation method of teaching has been emphasized in the scheme of the education of naturalists. Stress on physical environment education is based on ethics and self-expression is the aim of education is the concept of which school of philosophy? Naturalists. Maximum freedom to the child is the concept of naturalists. The teacher role in naturalism school of philosophy is an observer. यूनिट 3 इसका है साइकोलॉजिकल फाउंडेशन ऑफ एजुकेशन. Learning is relatively permanent change in behavior which occurs as a result of practice and experiences. Immature is objectionable term in psychology when used for misbehavior in a child or students. Learning is a multisensory process. Who is the father of genetic epistemology? Piaget. Nature of children is like imitative. Teaching learning process fundamentally completed in classroom. Development of concept is primarily a part of intellectual development. According to Piaget, during the first stage of development, birth to about 2 years, a child learns best by using the senses. Who defined the individualization education programmed IEP? Kirk and Gallagher. Individual learner differs from each other in rate of development. The number of domains in taxonomies of educational objective is 3. The highest level of cognitive domain is evaluation. The process of determining the value or worth of anything is evaluation. This is the definition of evaluation. Educational objectives have been divided into 3 domains. Taxonomy of educational objectives are presented in 1956. The classification of cognitive domain was presented by Benjamin S. Bloom. Cognitive domain has 6 subgroups. The lowest level of learning in cognitive domain is knowledge. The right sequence of subgroup cognitive domains is knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation. ये इसकी अरेंजमेंट है कॉग्निटिव डोमेन की. जितने भी सब ग्रुप है सब कैटेगरी है उन सब की ये इसकी तरतीब वाइज इसको लिखा हुआ है. And recalling is concerned with knowledge. To grasp the meaning of the material is comprehension. To use previous learned material in new situation is application. To break down material into component parts to know its organizational structure is analysis. To put ideas together to form a new whole is synthesis. To know the worth or value of material is evaluation. ये इन सब जो कैटेगरीज थी डोमेन की कॉग्निटिव डोमेन की उन सब की डेफिनीशंस आ गई है एक एक लाइन में. द इंटेलेक्चुअल स्किल्स आर रिफ्लेक्टेड बाय कॉग्निटिव डोमेन. Attitudes, values and interests are reflected by affective domain. Which domain is concerned with physical and motor skills? Psychomotor. The focus of cognitive domain is intellectual skills. The affective domain was classified by Krathwohl. Affective domain was divided into subgroups by Krathwohl in 1964. Affective domain is divided into 5 subgroups. The lowest level of learning in effective domain is receiving, which is placed at the highest level of learning in effective domain characterization. Right order of subgroups of affective domain is receiving, responding, valuing, organization, characterization. Willingness to attend a particular phenomena is attending, receiving. Which subgroup of effective domain focuses on active participation in responding? Bringing together different values into a consistent value system is organization. Effective domain focuses on adoption of a value system as a part of lifestyle in characterization. Psychomotor domain was classified by Simpson in 1972. Psychomotor domain was divided by Simpson in 6 subgroups. The right sequence of subgroups of psychomotor domain is reflex movement, fundamental movement, perceptual abilities, physical ability, skilled movement, non-discursive communication. Who revised the Bloom taxonomy? Anderson. When revised the Bloom taxonomy? 2001. In revised taxonomy knowledge, change in remembering. Me change the name of synthesis with creating. In revised taxonomy comprehension, change in understanding, which is vast in scope teaching strategy. Student find explore the information is themselves in discovery method. Micro teacher is a teaching training technique. What is the time of presentation in micro teaching? 5 to 10 minutes. What is the number of students in micro teaching? 5 to 10. Micro teaching started in 1960. 91. Micro teaching focuses on the competency over skills, which is more suitable in teaching of science project, which is not included in print media, TV. Who established first time madrasas and maktabs in subcontinent for imparting education? Mahmud Ghaznavi. Which year Urdu used as a medium of instruction in subcontinents? 1829. Urdu as a medium of instruction was introduced in the institution of Nawab Itamadud-Dola of Lucknow. Which one of the following ways the educational institution of Hindus? Pathshalas. Who teaches in Pathshalas? Pandits. According to Charter Act 1813, how much money allotted to promote education? Rupees 1 lakh. Lord Macaulay was a British historian and politician. He was appointed as a head of which committee? Educational. On 1835, Macaulay presented his historical minutes on education. This is important MCQs. According to Macaulay minute, English should be the medium of instruction. Who said the aims of education should be developed such personalities who are Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in moral and intellect? Lord Macaulay. The founder of modern education system was led by Macaulay minutes. Charles Wood Dispatch was presented in 1854. Which of the following described as Magna Carta of Indian education? Wood Dispatch. This is important MCQs. 1882, the commission is known Hunter Commission. This is the important one. Which of the following commission first decentralized the primary education? Hunter. Which commission recommended the control of primary education should be handed over to district and municipal board? Hunter. Who appointed University Commission? Lord Curzon. When Indian University Commission appointed? 1902. Who among the following was the Viceroy of India when Indian University Act 1904 was passed? Lord Curzon. In which act university was empowered to appoint their own staff? 1904. Who was the chairman of Calcutta University Commission 1917? Michael Sadler. Who was the head of Hartog Committee 1929? Philip Joseph. Which committee had concentrated its attention more on primary and secondary education and less on university education? Hartog. Who developed Wardha scheme of basic education 1937? Gandhi. ये important है. Who drafted वर्धा स्कीम? डॉक्टर जाकिर हुसैन. और इन्होंने वर्धा स्कीम जो है वो गांधी के कहने पर ड्राफ्ट की थी. एजुकेशन कॉन्फ्रेंस 1947 was held in Karachi. What percentage of illiterate people when Pakistan independent? 90%. One of the targets of Vision 2025 is to increase the literacy rate to 90% by 2025. At present, what is the literacy rate in Pakistan? 62%. Pakistan receives only 2 of the 21 University of Undivided India. How many colleges became the part of Pakistan in the time of independence? 83. Objective of education under Education Conference 1947 was all of the above: conformity with ideology of life, economic development, character information. Education Conference 1947 was presided by Fazlur Rahman. According to whom the first theme of education is spiritual and the second one is the training of citizenship? Fazlur Rahman. 1959 were all of the above: development of individuality, ideology of Pakistan, spiritual values. On 5th January 1959, National Education Commission was launched by Ayub Khan. National Education Commission 1959 was established under the headship of S.M. Sharif. The National Education Commission 1959 report consists on 350 pages. Which kind of education, according to the Education Policy 1970, should be introduced to secondary level and higher level? Technical. Who announced a national education policy on 29th March 1972? Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. Which federal minister called the Education Conference 1971? Hafiz Pirzada. Under which education policy, education must be free for both girls and boys up to class 10th? 1972. When all of the colleges were taken under government? 1972. Which education policy has the main qualities of Islamic foundations and Urdu as a source of education? 1972. National Education Policy 1979 was announced in February 1979. Who conducted the National Education Conference 1979? Ziaul Haq. What was the main object of the Educational Policy 1979? To make the people feel to bond between Islam and. Who announced the National Education Conference 1979? Muhammad Ali Khan. How many elementary schools will open was recommended in coming 5 years in the National Education Conference 1979, 13,000. What would be the educational expenditure according to the Educational Policy 1998, 4%? In which policy more facilities were announced for the teachers 1972? Which education policy had the longest tenure 1998? Which education policy gave more importance to the translation of Quran 1998? According to the Education Policy 1998, what should be the qualification of primary school teachers? FA. The process of all those things through which an educational objective can be achieved is called educational planning. There are two types of planning. Planning provides direction. Which of the following reduces the risk of uncertainties? Planning. Which of the following is the first managerial function? Planning. Planning is the intellectual process. Planning is concerned with setting objectives, targets, and formulation plan. What is the first step of planning? Setting objectives. Lesson plan for a teacher is a planning of concerned period. Planning for the institution should be based on aims and needs. Getting work done through other effectively and effectiveness is called management. The history of administration goes back to 5000 BC. The main responsibility of school management lies on principal. Administration means to look after. Which one of the following set policy? Administration. Management is a social and as well as technical process. Which one of the following implements the policy? Management. There are 3 levels of the management. Supervisor fall into the lower level management. Which one of the following ensures that the policies are carried out effectively? Supervisor. The basic purpose of supervision is to help children learn more effectively. Supervisor is one who provides friendly help. There are 3 types of administration. According to Gulick 7 and Urvik, there are 7 elements of administration. According to fuel administration theory of management, there are 5 basic elements or function of management. The function of educational administration and management is instructional and non-instructional. According to fuel administration theory of management, there are 5 basic elements or function of management, which are planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, controlling. The function of educational administration and management is instructional and non-instructional task. Those manager administration make all decisions themselves is called autocratic. Those manager administration take an active role in the decision making process, but they involve others, democratic. Those managers administrations have very little involvement in decision making, mostly leaving everything up to their team, called laissez-faire. This is important one. Democratic administration is based on mutual sharing. Technology is concerned about finding workable solution of practical life. A trend is a general direction into which something is changing or developing. Most popular trends in education nowadays: problem-based, project-based, brain-based learning, who is known as the father of modern media education, Edgar Dale. Method used to transfer information to far off places instantly is called telecommunication. Overcrowded class is a big problem in our education system. According to Phillips H. Combs, has traced the origin of modern education thought has three elements. Role of science and technology give helps in exhibition, demonstration, teaching, learning. Which of the following is helpful for fulfilling the expectation of distance learning? Technology. Unsatisfactory enrollment equipment is in science is a big challenge. Up and down rate of birth and death rate related to the dynamic population. Who said every educational plan is a political document? Rowley. Political interference is a problem in our educational system. Due to increase in population, it may lead to brain and drain. HRD primary focus is to enhance the skill, knowledge, attitude that enable individuals to perform current and future job. How many percent individuals reach to the higher education or university level in Pakistan? 2%. EE means environmental education. Environmental education is a methodology which picked up familiarity with their surroundings. According to Pakistan Social and Living Measurement Survey 2008 to 2009, the literacy rate of women was only 45%. Social norm is barrier to female education. Child marriage is a barrier to female education. 21% of girls marry before age 18 years. 3% of girls marries before age 15 years. In a panel discussion, each member speaks on a pre-planned subject. In which of these people with similar interest contribute with their knowledge? Conference. A convention is a fellowship meeting of fraternal group. A conference is not attended by common people. Summits are often meetings with high-level professionals to discuss the newest finding in a field. A symposium is a casual gathering and includes refreshments and entertainment. A seminar is organized to discuss a particular topic. They are usually educational in nature. There are three main modes types of education. Formal learning usually takes place in the premises of the school where a person may learn basic academic or trade skill. Process of living is called informal learning. Non-formal to sometime arranged or sometime not arranged. It has also rules, but the rules in the form of education are flexible. ये थ्री टाइप्स ऑफ एजुकेशन को एक्सप्लेन कर रहा है. इसमें फॉर्मल भी आ गया, इनफॉर्मल भी और नॉन फॉर्मल भी. Learning in classroom is the example of formal learning. There is no curriculum is required to informal education. Sometimes accidentally we learn a lot is a type of informal learning. Mosque and church are the institution of non-formal learning. Formal education has rigid rules of entry and exits. Informal education has no rules of entry and exits. Which type model of education is structured? Formal. Through which type of education you can get knowledge such as media, friends, family and life experience, etc. Informal. In which type mode of education the child is taught by a teacher? Formal. It is a lifelong process in a natural way, informal, through which institution we get informal education, home. Boy Scout and Girls Boy Scouts and Girls Guides develop some sports programs such as swimming come under non-formal learning. Distance and online education is a part of formal learning. If a person standing in a bank learns about opening and maintain the account at the bank is the example of non-formal learning. Which one is not the source of formal education? Mosque. Which type mode of education is not pre-planned and has no timetable? Informal. The word curriculum is derived from Latin. The Latin origins of the word curriculum lie in the word coere, which means to run. Curriculum is not simple, straightforward collection of subject matter. It is something to be felt rather than something to be seen. Curriculum is overall activities of an institution. Curriculum completely focuses on society. A true blueprint in the mind and heart of the teacher is called curriculum. What is the nature of curriculum? Constructive, critical, creative. Scope of curriculum is wider than content, syllabus, outline. Syllabus is a Greek word. Syllabus is a summary of topic covered or units like chapters in any subject. Syllabus can contain outlines, objective and time required. Syllabus is a subject, a set of classes or a plan of a study on a particular subject, usually leading to an exam or qualification course. Syllabus is descriptive in nature. Syllabus is prepared by a teacher. Which type of curriculum emphasized direct instruction? Behavioral curriculum. All experiences of the children for whom school assumes responsibility. Curriculum. Which curriculum is emphasized in Erickson's theories? Psychosocial curriculum. Making value judgment about curriculum is curriculum evaluation. At school level, curriculum developed by provisional government. Who said a curriculum is a design of a social group for educational experiences of their children in school? G.A. Camp. According to Lawton, there are three elements of curriculum. Reconstruction. Educators should emphasize on curriculum that highlights social reforms. Co-curricular related to the physical or activity base. Unwritten social rules and expectation of behavior that we all seem to know but never taught is called hidden curriculum. The activity and forces which influenced curriculum developer in their curriculum decision-making task is called curriculum presage. The first step of curriculum development of planning is identify issue problem. In sociological foundation of curriculum developer must know the nature of society. Who represented the rational or objective model of curriculum? Ralph Taylor and Hilda Tauber. When Taylor represented the objective model, 1949. According to Ralph Taylor, three sources must looked when developer make curriculum. Which one is the first? Learner and their background. Ralph Taylor model first step is starting objective. Ralph Taylor model last step is evaluation. The objectives model राल्फ टेलर ने जो ऑब्जेक्टिव मॉडल दिया है उसमें ये चीज़ें शामिल हैं. स्टेटिंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, सेलेक्टिंग लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस, ऑर्गेनाइजिंग लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस, इवेल्युएशन. How many steps in Hilda-Daba model? 7. First step of Hilda-Daba model is diagnosis of needs. In diagnosis step of Daba model, developer determine the need of society and students. Second step of Daba model is formulation of objective, because through objective we achieve our goals. Through which step curriculum planner choose the methodology or strategy to involve learner with the consent. Selection of learning experience. Formulating objective. टाबा की जो फॉर्मुलेटिंग ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं, जो ऑब्जेक्टिव मॉडल है वो ये है: डायग्नोसिस ऑफ नीड्स, फार्मूलेशन ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिव, सिलेक्शन ऑफ कंटेंट, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ कंटेंट, सिलेक्शन ऑफ लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंसेस, organization of learning experiences, determination of what to evaluate and ways and means of doing it. Who represented the cycle model of curriculum? Wheeler and Howard Nichols. When Wheeler represented his cycle model? 1969. The first step of cycle model is aims, goals and objectives. The model is explained here. First one is aims, goals and objectives. Second one is selection of learning experiences, and third one is selection of content. Fourth one is organization and integration of learning experiences, and fifth one is evaluation. When Howard Nichols presented his curriculum model 1978, first step of Howard Nichols model of curriculum is situation analysis. Last step of Howard Nichols model of curriculum is situation analysis. Situation analysis model is presented here. Selection of objective, selection and organization of content, selection and organization of method, evaluation. Who represented the dynamic model of curriculum? Decker, Walker and Skillbacks. When Decker Walker represented his curriculum model 1971, how many phases of Walker model of curriculum development? 3. Which phase made from ideas, point of view, belief and value of the Decker Walker model? Platform. Second phase of Decker Walker model of curriculum is deliberation. This is the diagram of this model. Belief, theories, conceptions, point of view, aims, objectives. This is called the platform. Then there is deliberations, applying them to practical situations or going about accepting, resulting, changing, adopting. Curriculum design, making decision about the various process components. When Malcolm Skillback presented dynamic model 1976, in which phase of Malcolm Skillback model check the external and internal position of a school and also look the past and future of the concerned community? Situation analysis. Which curriculum model mostly used in developing the school curriculum? Dynamic model. Here is dynamic model. Situation analysis, goal formulation, design, implementation, evaluation. A framework of action for preparing a curriculum is curriculum design. The mirror of society is school. Subject-centered design of curriculum revolve around the content. In which design of curriculum, teachers provide a predetermined list of things that they need to teach their students. Subject-centered design. Which one is not focused on the needs and interest of the learner? Subject-centered design. Which curriculum design widely used in the world? Subject-centered design. Who is the father of subject-centered curriculum design? Ralph Taylor. Learner-centered design focuses on the learner themselves and focuses on the learner willingness interests. Which of the following design is democratic in nature? Learner-centered design. Students' overall development is emphasized in learner-centered design. Humanistic curriculum is learner-centered. Activity-centered curriculum is also type of learner-centered design. Through observation or participation to achieve the learning objectives is called activity. Learning by doing is the best example of activity-centered learning. Who is the father of activity-based learning? John Dewey. In which curriculum design, learner is seen as engaged and self-directed problem solves while teachers are placed as facilitator? Problem-centered design. Which curriculum design develops higher order thinking skills in students? Problem-centered design. Non-curriculum, also called null curriculum. In which curriculum design, explanatory methods are used in subject-centered design? In which curriculum design, teacher training is less emphasized? Subject-centered design. If the need of society change, then must be curriculum will be changed. If two or more methods are mixed up for teaching, the teaching method will be known as eclectic method. Eclectic method मतलब चुनने वाला, इंतखाबी या जिसका इंतखाब किया जाए. A curriculum is the sum total of a school's influence a child's behavior. In planning and implementing curricula, school makes its selection from culture.